It's time for Tubi Tuesday. Hello. Hello there. I'm Scotty. No, we're not. Welcome to Tubi Tuesday. We're not going to stand up for this one. Because we're going to talk about a movie that I've heard of. I've had in my list for Tubi for a while now, but kind of putting it off to do for this month. And I was like, what can I do? And I was like, hey, I think I have Nightbreed in here somewhere. So I found it. And I watched it. And then I started watching, like, videos on YouTube about it. Like, Josh from Movie Timelines has a video on it. Joe Blow has a video on it. This movie went through so much shit. This is one of those infamous movies that was released. The studio didn't know what to do with it. They edited it down into something else. It failed. And then nothing ever came from it. And then we got a director's cut, which is the best they could do, I guess. But this was actually pretty good. I enjoyed it. It stars Craig Sheffer as a guy who feels like there's something, like he keeps having these dreams and he thinks he's killing people, which his therapist, who's the actual killer, played by David frickin' Cronenberg. Yeah, I was like, David Cronenberg? I know he had a small role in Jason X, but I didn't think he ever acted. But let me tell you, he is fantastic in this. And I can see why. We'll get to the changes made for the theatrical version. Then I can see why they made some of those changes, but yeah. Yeah, he's the actual killer, and he's like the button-faced killer, which, how does he see out of that button-faced mask? I don't understand that, but yeah. So, Boone, our main character, played by Craig Sheffer, he's having visions. And right away, Craig Sheffer is better than this than Hellraiser Inferno. He's actually a likable character here, but he played like an asshole in that one. But he's actually pretty good in this. I'm not saying he wasn't good in that one. He played Joseph Thorne very well. Just didn't care about that character. You do care about this character. He has a girlfriend. He has a dream. He seeks out this place called Midian. And no, it's not Naked Midian from the World Wrestling Federation. It's just a place in a graveyard where these creatures, known as the Nightbreed, live. He gets bitten by one and then shot to death because Cronenberg has led the police there and has basically said that he's the killer. He's brought back to life as one of these creatures and reunites with his girlfriend, who tracks him down to Midian with this woman she meets at a bar who dies thanks to Cronenberg showing up. And I think Cronenberg's supposed to be her boyfriend Curtis that she was seeing. It's mentioned. I don't know. It says in the cast list he's the guy / Curtis. So maybe that was in the theatrical version, because we'll get to it. And then we get this big old battle at the end. So what happens is, basically, they leave to go to Laurie's apartment or hotel room, whatever it is. There they find next door there's a bunch of murdered people. Cronenberg has called the cops to arrest him. They do, but then we can't find a pulse, which then this all ends up in a battle at Midian, which, like, Boone has to basically tell them, you gotta fight back, we can't hide anymore, and there's like a prophecy, because of course there is, saying that Boone will lead them, and Boone is the one to save, Doug Bradley is in this, as this character who, in the theatrical version, got overdubbed by some German guy. But, yeah. And so Cronenberg leads the police on this all-out show. He's got this corrupt cop with him, and there's a priest, Ashleby, something like that. who ends up being turned into one of them at the end by Baphomet, but then he's led to be the villain in the proposed sequel because it's supposed to be a trilogy. He's left behind, and he's set up to be the villain. The other two, Boone and his girlfriend Lori, after this whole war is done, he leads the Nightbreed away, and Lori wants to come with, but he says, no, you can't come with, you're mortal. And he's like, but I'll be back. She's like, when I'm 90 years old and used to look the same. And then she stabs herself, or cuts herself, whatever, forcing him to change her, and they live together. And then he doesn't go with them, but Rachel, I think her name is, Lady Turn to Smoke, she says that he will be back and he will lead us. Which was so supposed to set up the sequel. Now, before I get into what the troubles were, I want to talk about some of the best parts of this movie. The creature effects. All these creatures, I think it had the Guinness record for the most creatures on screen, which is fantastic. At the time, I don't think it does anymore. But the creature effects in this are fantastic. It's Clive Barker, the guy who brought us this and this, even though he didn't direct this, but he directed the first one, I believe. Yeah. But he didn't direct this, but it was his story. Same thing with the Hellraiser. So, yeah. And, yeah, you could imagine how these look terrifying. Just creatures look fantastic. And the score, which right away I figured out, I'm like, this score, it is Danny Elfman. And I looked it up. Sure as shit. Danny Elfman. Because it sounds like Danny Elfman. It's fantastic. And this version restores Doug Bradley's voice, which is instant recognizable. I'm like, that is Doug Bradley. That is Doug Bradley. So, yeah. And, like, the big fight battle at the end is fantastic. You have people shooting people. Like, it's funny when the people getting killed, even, like, some of the Nightbreeds, and you got the priest blessing their bodies. It's like, so you need to stop this, but they don't stop, So, what happened to this movie? Fucking studios. So, first and foremost, Morgan Creek, yeah, they've had their fair share of messing up movies. They didn't understand the movie when they were watching stuff. So, they were very confused with what's going on when they're watching the dailies or whatever. They didn't think we were going to understand them. And 20th Century Fox was the one that released this. And the whole story was that the creatures were the good guys. And, like, someone actually told Clive Barker, hey, if you're not careful, people are going to root for the monsters. And it's like, yeah. That's what's supposed to happen. They didn't get it. They didn't get it. And pound that with the dreaded priest. Don't fall down, baby. She don't fall down. The dreaded pre-screening for audiences. Like, they didn't, like, in the original cut, in this cut, Narcissus, the character, dies at the end, killed by David Cronenberg's character, right? Fans liked him, he was a fan favorite, so they changed that and kept him alive in the theatrical version. But they also changed it because people didn't understand what the movie was about. They didn't get it. It is a little tough to follow, I'll tell you that. I found myself zoning out here and there, but I did enjoy it. So we'll get there. But, so because of this, they ordered reshoots. Taking out all the deep monster stuff, cutting around it, making the theatrical cut. Adding more stuff with Cronenberg's killer and making it more of a slasher film. Even an ending where Cronenberg is brought back to life at the end. Like a Jason Voorhees type slasher villain. Yeah. And from what I hear, I've never seen the theatrical version, but from what I hear, it is incoherent and hard to follow. And then you got this version. As a result, like, it bombed. It bombed. It was released in February around President's Day. It bombed. It bombed hard because 20th Century Fox didn't understand what movie they had. Like I said, and they turned it into a generic slasher film, which didn't work. And yeah, so over the years they've been trying to get this director's cut made. There's even a Cabal cut, which was what the original title was, I think, which is the name of the book, Cabal cut. And there's an extended VHS cut, but like the Cabal cut basically has this footage with the Cronenberg brought back to life thing is an end credit stinger. But then they probably finally talked it's Mark Miller and David Cronenberg were able to bring this together. He even thanks them at the end for the happy reunion and before the credits start. And like I said, I haven't seen the theatrical version, but just hearing about that it was not incoherent and it's just all over the place. It takes away some of the character stuff between some of the character beats with the creatures, the Nightbreed itself, and the character beats with Boone and Laurie. Their kind of romance stuff that's going on. I take that out to add more slasher scenes with Cronenberg. It's just, yeah, they didn't get the movie at all. They took out the stuff that mattered and added more slasher stuff to make it more appealing to modern horror audiences at the time, which were used to slasher films. Yeah, they didn't understand it at all. But I will say, after watching this movie, I enjoyed it. I think it was pretty good. I know it's a short one. There's not much to say. It warrants a rewatch, which is why I'm going to try to buy it on Blu-ray, because it warrants a rewatch. A movie is 2 hours long. It's 2 hours long. You know, maybe you could cut a little bit. It's 2 hours long. It's not like a 4-hour Snyder cut, mind you. It's 2 hours long. It is enjoyable. I do recommend the director's cut. But I feel like I'm going to try to find a theatrical cut on DVD just to see how different it is. But I don't know. I kind of like to have alternate cuts, like with Mom More Man. I don't think they have the theatrical cut. They released it in a limited edition version and for Scream Factory, and then a regular version for Scream Factory, which is like $20. Not that bad at all. So I might pick that up on eBay, you know. I want to start getting more Scream Factory stuff, but it's 2 movies that I got to get for a project I'm doing, basically, and I can start working on getting those. You know, taking a break from ordering movies for a while. I got enough to do for now. But, I mean, there is stuff I want to do, like a sequel of Fun 2, but that's probably far into the future from now, if I think about it. But anyway, what are your thoughts on Nightbreed? I know this is a shorter review, but there's so much in this movie. Like I said, I found myself zoning out here and there. But the parts that I did see, like the whole, towards the end of the film, when shit just gets going, I was into it. You know? Like, from the moment, I want to say it's from the moment that they find the dead bodies in the hotel, I was hooked again. I did miss some of the stuff. I think I'm out a little bit when they're in the police department. Then after that, I was back in. But yeah. So what are your thoughts on Nightbreed? Let me know in the comments. Don't sure like, share, and subscribe. So next, now we're on Tubi Tuesday. I gotta write it down. Just so you know, I don't know what I'm doing for Tubi Tuesday. I think, although I do have an idea for the next one before I do them, but yeah. So next, we're doing another movie from this year, starring a popular rock band. Can you figure out which one it is? Till then, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.